Business Report.
Good evening. Tonight, according to the central bank, Sri Lanka will receive a substantial amount of foreign exchange in December 2025, which will further stabilize the exchange rate. According to the Joint Apparel Association Forum, exports of clothing and cosmetics from Sri Lanka decreased by 0.05% between October 2024 and October 2025. The Colombo Stock Exchange in Sri Lanka closed down today, reversing the little purchasing trend of the previous week. And as investors became more hopeful about a possible interest rate drop by the Federal Reserve next month, Asian markets increased Friday.
From Studio 24C, here's Anuradhi Vikramasinghe.
Good evening and welcome to the Nightly Business Report on Derana News Channel. The central bank said that in December 2025, Sri Lanka will receive a healthy amount of foreign exchange, which will stabilize the exchange rate further. Accordingly, Sri Lanka is to receive around $750 million in the month of December.
The central bank governor Dr. Nandalal Veerasinghe said the expected dollar inflows include $340 million from the International Monetary Fund. He said Sri Lanka will receive those funds as the fifth tranche of the Extended Fund Facility program. Sri Lanka will also receive $370 million from the Asian Development Bank and some amount from the World Bank in December.
I mentioned, I think, currency exchange rate will be determined based on the market demand and supply. There is a high demand for foreign exchange in terms of imports or other means of demand for exchange, that will reflect in the currency on a gradual basis. At the same time, remittances, tourism and exports are also doing well. As a result, we are seeing some kind of a balance between demand and supply. But in the short term, if there is a volatility, the central bank intervenes, and if there is an undue disorderly adjustment, we intervene and basically smoothen out that volatility. That's what has happened. But we see our overall assessment, issues of current account surplus this year is going to be still a 1% of GDP, or 1 billion surplus this year.
The Japan-Sri Lanka Committee on Business Environment convened this week to discuss challenges faced by investors in Sri Lanka, according to the Japanese embassy in Colombo. The meeting, which was held at the Board of Investment, marked the second session of the committee since its launch in August of 2025. Participants included representatives from the Embassy of Japan, JETRO, JICA, GCCI, and the Japanese companies operating in Sri Lanka, and relevant Sri Lankan authorities. The committee focused on enhancing the business climate through transparency, predictability, and non-discriminatory treatment, while addressing regulatory bottlenecks and investment procedure delays. Officials emphasized that the forum provides a timely platform to rebuild investor confidence and support Japanese direct investment in Sri Lanka. The Joint Apparel Association Forum reported that Sri Lanka's apparel and made-up articles exports edged down 0.05% in October 2025 compared with October of 2024.
The Joint Apparel Association Forum said that Sri Lanka's apparel sector remains steady despite challenging global conditions. Shipments to the USA, UK and other markets fell by 1.92%, 11.99% and 9.84% respectively in October 2025. Exports to the EU, however, grew by 12.53% during the same month. The industry body highlighted that strong growth in EU markets and positive cumulative performance reflect the sector's resilience and ongoing investments in competitiveness. From January to October 2025, total apparel exports rose 6.12% year-on-year. During this period, exports to the USA increased by 1.37%, while the EU recorded a 14.05% rise, with the modest growth reported from the UK and other markets.
Let's take a short break now. This is the Nightly Business Report. Welcome back to the Nightly Business Report. Sri Lanka's Colombo Stock Exchange closed lower today, reversing the week's modest buying momentum. The all-share price index slipped 0.8% to 22,662.09, while the S&P SL20 also fell 0.68% to 6,268.45. Market turnover totaled 2.3 billion rupees, with most trading concentrated in the food, beverage and tobacco sectors. For further insights on this, we have Salama Sanoon from First Capital Holdings.
Thank you, Anuradhi. The Colombo Stock Exchange reversed course once again and stumbled in the face of profit-taking as the all-share price index registered a drop of 182 points and closed at 22,662. The index registered a steady decline throughout the day. Sampath Bank, Richard Pearis and Company, Commercial Bank, Hatton National Bank and Dialog Axiata emerged as the top negative contributors to the index. Both retail and high net worth investor participation was muted today, resulting in a low turnover of just 2.3 billion rupees, and this marks a decline of 58% from the monthly average. On a sectoral basis, the capital goods sector dominated activity, accounting for 31% of total turnover, followed by the diversified financials and banking sectors, which collectively contributed 26%. The top three price gainers for the day were SMB Finance Non-Voting, Industrial Asphalts and Radiant Gems International, whereas the top three price losers were EB Creasy, Udapusal Lava Plantations and Tess Agro Non-Voting. Thank you.
The Central Bank of Sri Lanka has kept the overnight policy rate at 7.75%, aiming to steer inflation towards the 5% target while supporting ongoing economic growth. For further insights on this, we have Ranjan Ranatunga from First Capital Holdings.
Thank you, Anuradhi. The Central Bank of Sri Lanka has decided to keep the overnight policy rate unchanged at 7.75% following its latest monetary policy meeting held yesterday. The board noted that the current policy changes remains appropriate to guide inflation towards a 5% target under the Monetary Policy Framework Agreement. Inflation measured by the Colombo Consumer Price Index continued to rise for the third consecutive month in the month of October, though the increase is expected to be gradual. CBSL projects inflation to align with the target by the second half of 2026, supported by anchored medium-term expectations. Core inflation is also anticipated to pick up moderately as domestic demand gradually strengthens. Meanwhile, leading indicators point to continuation of economic recovery with private sector credit showing strong broad-based growth throughout 2025. The expansion has been driven by low interest rates and renewed demand, particularly from vehicle imports. On the external front, the imports have increased, backed by widened trade deficit, but strong tourism and worker remittances has helped to offset the pressure. Gross official reserves improved to 6 billion, supported by central banks' foreign exchange purchases and expected inflows from multilaterals. CBS has stated that they will continue to monitor the evolving global and domestic conditions and stands ready to adjust the policies to maintain price stability and support economic growth. Thank you.
Gold was broadly steady today after touching a near two-week high in the previous session as traders assessed the likelihood of a U.S. interest rate cut in December. Spot gold slipped 0.2% to $4,154.09 per ounce, while U.S. gold futures for December delivery eased 0.3% to $4,151.20. Market participants are now awaiting the U.S. weekly jobless claims report, a key indicator of labor market strength and future Federal Reserve policy. Deutsche Bank raised its 2026 gold price forecast to $4,450 an ounce from $4,000, citing stabilizing investment flows and continued central bank buying. Spot silver climbed 2% to $52.43 per ounce, extending its recent gains. Platinum rose 0.6% to $1,562.50, and palladium advanced 1% to $1,411.57. Oil prices declined today amid expectations of a potential Ukraine-Russia ceasefire that could ease Western sanctions on Russian supply. Trading volumes remain thin due to the U.S. Thanksgiving holiday, and Brent crude futures fell 0.5% to $62.80 per barrel, while U.S. WTI crude lost 0.6% to $58.33 per barrel. Both contracts had risen about 1% as investors weighed oversupply risks and the prospects of a peace deal. U.S. envoy Steve Witkoff is scheduled to travel to Moscow next week for talks with Russian leaders on ending the conflict. A senior Russian diplomat stated that Russia is unlikely to make major concessions on any peace plan. The Sri Lankan rupee held steady against the US dollar at commercial banks today, showing no change from Wednesday's rates. At Commercial Bank, the US dollar's buying rate remains at 302 rupees and 75 cents, while the selling rate stays at 311 rupees and 25 cents. With that, let's take a closer look at how the Sri Lankan rupee is performing against other major global currencies. short break now. This is the Nightly Business Report. Welcome back to the Nightly Business Report. BYD, in partnership with its sole authorized distributor JKCG Auto, officially launched the all-new BYD Atto 1 and Atto 2 in Sri Lanka, marking a significant expansion of the brand's electric vehicle lineup in the country.
The all-new BYD Atto 1 and Atto 2 have officially launched in Sri Lanka, marking a major expansion of BYD's electric vehicle lineup. The Atto 1, a full electric hatchback, features BYD's Blade battery and 8-in-1 electric powertrain designed for efficiency, smooth acceleration and long-term durability. Its compact, lightweight design makes it ideal for city driving, offering a range of 300 kilometers on a single charge. Inside the Atto 1 includes a 10.1-inch touchscreen, Apple CarPlay and Android Auto support, wireless charging and a 6-airbag safety system. The Atto 2 compact SUV builds on these innovations with BYD's CTB platform, enhancing rigidity, safety and handling. It also offers a refined interior with a 12.8-inch touchscreen, ventilated front seats, voice assistant and advanced driver assistant features such as adaptive cruise control and 360-degree monitoring.
HNB PLC, Sri Lanka's leading private bank, has been announced as the platinum sponsor of TIECON Colombo 2026, the country's premier innovation and entrepreneurship forum. Organized by the TIE Colombo, the event will bring together entrepreneurs, investors, intrapreneurs and global business leaders for keynotes, panels, networking and innovation showcases. HNB MD and CEO Damit Palawatha said the partnership reflects the bank's commitment to helping Sri Lankan enterprises expand globally. He noted that TIECON 2026 aligns with the national shift from resilience-based recovery to opportunity-driven growth. TIE Colombo President Madhu Ratnayaka described the event as a launchpad that will strengthen Sri Lanka's runway to the world. The collaboration combines HNB's financial leadership with TIE's global network to provide founders with capital access, mentorship and cross-border business insights. Uber Eats has broadened its Sri Lankan presence, launching delivery services in Chilaw, Venapur and Puttalam to enhance convenience for consumers and boost economic opportunities in the region.
Uber Eats has expanded its services to Chilaw, Venapur and Puttalam, strengthening its presence in Sri Lanka's fast-growing northwestern province. The expansion underscores Uber Eats' commitment to supporting local economies by connecting small businesses and delivery partners to a wider customer base. Customers in these bustling coastal towns now gain greater choice, accessibility and convenience through the app. Local restaurants in Chilaw, Venapur and Puttalam are expected to benefit from increased visibility and demand. This latest expansion follows rapid growth across Sri Lanka, reinforcing Uber Eats' position as a leading delivery platform in the country.
Aberdeen Holdings has strengthened its commitment to sustainability by achieving greenhouse gas verification certification under an ISO standard. This milestone highlights the group's efforts to measure, manage and report emissions in line with global best practices. With a diverse portfolio across more than 8 industries, the company continues to embed data-driven transparency into its operations. Subsidiaries such as Expac Corrugated Cartons PLC, High Energy Services and Neptune Recyclers are leading advancements in renewable energy and circular economy solutions. The certification also enhances the group's contribution to the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. Aberdeen Holdings views this achievement as part of its long-term mission to support a greener and more resilient Sri Lanka. Dialogue Enterprise served as the principal sponsor of the 2025 Sri Lanka CERT-CC Cybersecurity Conference, reinforcing its commitment to enhancing national cybersecurity awareness and resilience.
Dialogue Enterprise reinforced its commitment to national cybersecurity as the principal sponsor of the Sri Lanka CERT-CC Cybersecurity Conference 2025. The company emphasizes the technology should empower progress while safeguarding people, businesses, and critical national infrastructure. As a trusted digital partner, Dialogue Enterprise provides secure end-to-end ICT solutions across connectivity, cloud, cybersecurity and managed services. The partnership with Sri Lanka CERT-CC highlights a shared mission to enhance the nation's cybersecurity readiness and awareness. Tilak Pathrugate, chairman of Sri Lanka CERT, praised the collaboration as vital for strengthening public-private cooperation against evolving digital threats.
Associated Motorways Private Limited inaugurated its new multi-branch showroom in Kurunegala, marking a significant milestone for the company. The grand opening at number 255 Colombo Road, Vaduragala was attended by AMW's leadership, customers, business partners and local officials. The showroom strengthens AMW's presence in the northwestern province and underscores its commitment to modern, customer-focused mobility solutions. Managing Director Jawahar Ganesh highlighted Kurunegala's growth as a commercial hub and emphasized AMW's dedication to world-class automotive services. The facility showcases popular vehicles including the Nissan Magnite and Suzuki Fronx, with plans to expand the full range of models in the future. Customers also benefit from on-site finance and leasing services, enabling a seamless one-stop vehicle buying experience. We're going in for a short commercial break. Global business updates coming on the other side. This is the Nightly Business Report. Welcome back to the Nightly Business Report. Asian stocks rose as investors grew increasingly optimistic about a potential Federal Reserve interest rate cut next month. The US dollar weakened amid these expectations, while the Japanese yen remained under intervention watch. Market movements were subdued due to a holiday-shortened week, keeping both equities and currencies relatively stable. MSCI's broadest Asia-Pacific index outside Japan climbed 0.4%, aiming to end a three-week losing streak. Japan's Nikkei surged over 1%, although European futures indicated a muted opening. FTSE futures fell 0.15%, Euro Stoxx 50 eased 0.04%, and DAX futures remained largely flat. China's Great Wall Motor is aiming to dramatically expand its European footprint, setting a target of producing 300,000 vehicles annually by 2029 as it searches for a site for its first car plant in the region.
China's Great Wall Motor is setting its sights on Europe. The automaker is scouting locations for its first factory there as part of moves to revive flagging sales in the region. It aims to produce 300,000 vehicles a year in Europe by 2029. This is the first update on GWM's European ambitions since 2023, when the company said it had big plans for the region and had begun site selection for a plant. Spain and Hungary are among the countries now under consideration. Chinese automakers are pushing overseas expansion to escape a fierce price war at home. But export drives have been hit by higher tariffs on their cars in the EU and other regions. In Europe, GWM will face stiff competition from local brands and Chinese rivals like BYD, which is thought to view Spain as its top candidate for a third European plant after Hungary and Turkey. GWM's EV brand, Aura, saw registrations in Europe plunge 41% last year, according to analysts at Jato Dynamics. That's even as its global overseas sales rose to a record. Now, GWM's goal is annual sales of 1 million cars overseas by 2030, which, Shi says, will mean winning over sophisticated consumers in Europe. The planned factory will produce cars across all powertrains, from conventional engines to fully electric. GWM hopes to convince European buyers with models like the Aura 5 compact SUV, which is due to debut in the region in mid-2026.
Thank you for watching the Nightly Business Report on Other Derana News channel. We value your opinion as always, so please share your thoughts and feedback with us through email at feedback.adncenglish@derana.lk or by WhatsApp at 076-805-7933. We'll see you again tomorrow with the latest updates in the business globe. Vinut Varnasuriya will be joining you next with Other Derana Sports Central. Until then, I'm Anuradhi Vikramasinghe. Thank you very much for watching. Have a good night.